Hurricane Ike slammed into the northern Texas coastline on September 12th, leaving millions of Texans reeling in the wake of the storm.
I've seen a lot of hurricanes, and that's the worst one I've ever seen.
Ike made landfall as a Category 2 hurricane, ravaging much of southeast Texas. Many coastal communities were utterly destroyed, facing high winds followed by a tidal surge that engulfed half of Chambers and Jefferson counties. Agricultural losses in those two counties alone will total in the tens of millions.
We've got about 90% of the fencing down and cattle that have migrated out of the surge zone. The other issue that these producers are facing is virtually most of their calf crop has been lost. Even if the cattle survived, a lot of them's calves were not able to survive a surge of greater than 15 to 20 feet.
Many of the surviving cattle were miles from their home pastures, roaming free on state and county roads. All the water and grass they could find to eat were severely affected by the massive storm surge.
When that storm surge came in, it brought tons of salt water. And with that salt water, it contaminated the grass, and it also contaminated the freshwater sources those cattle were typically accustomed to drinking out of. And so with the cattle continuing to drink the salt water, we begin to see some dehydration, and eventually the cattle will just die. The challenge now is to try to get those cattle some fresh water as quickly as possible, and also some hay as well.
White's Park in Anahuac serves as the drop-off point for hay, feed, water troughs, and fencing materials. As supplies arrive, volunteers work from sunup to sundown trying to save as many animals as possible. Volunteer fire crews fill water troughs with fresh water, while others deploy countless rolls of hay donated from places all over the state.
Looking at about 27 truckloads of hay that will go out. We probably have an excess of about 150 square bales that'll be going down, and then at this present time about 3.5 tons of feed.
But livestock weren't the only ag losses. Some farmers were days away from harvesting their rice crop, which now lay wasted in the fields. And those who did harvest ahead of the storm say Ike may have a detrimental effect on their second crop.
On our second growth, we're going to more than likely see some major damage on it because some of it was starting to bloom, put on heads and starting to bloom, and therefore if it blew those blooms off, then it won't produce anything. It'll just be blank heads.
John Jenkins' rice dryer, which has been continually operating since 1938, was severely damaged by hurricane-force winds.
We had the major works of our dryer system and the elevators that got taken out. The head house was taken off by the winds, and could have been a possibility of some tornadoes out here. And to my left, where the round tanks are, we also lost two tops off of them and damaged all of our grain bins.
It will be weeks or even months before the full extent of the damages are known. This makes the relief effort in southeast Texas an ongoing need.
It's not going to end here in the next 2 weeks. It's going to go on for some time now. And even if we find all the cattle and get them located and get them where they can get some feed, that effort's not going to go away.
For Voices of Agriculture, I'm Ed Wolf in Chambers County.